2-2 in the end. I think we would have took it before. We were offered it before the start of the game, mate. What do you reckon in terms of performance more today, though?
I think, I'll be pretty honest, I think in the first half, I was actually alright with the first 20 minutes. I thought, yes, we conceded more shots, but I think we looked a little bit more compact. And I think it made me think, why can't we do it against the Brentfords, the Chelseas, and everybody else that we played before the international break? But then as they scored, our heads just started to drop, and it just became the same old of every time we played. We got into half time, 1-0 down. I thought, okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but you just knew the crucial goal was going to be straight after, and it was just, I was really impressed with Bruno for making that finish. I thought he had a really poor first half, like you said yourself, and I think ultimately it's just consistency. The consistency's just not there all season. I don't mean to single players out, but I do have to say, like Marcus Rashford at one point, ball's going out of play, he half-asses it and he just lets it run out. And these are the sort of things. It's not necessarily always performance, it's not even just consistency, but concentration, I think, is the biggest thing that this team lacks. We need players who can pass the ball. We need players who can stay switched on and focused. And I think that's why I was so impressed with Kambala today. Man of the match, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's so disappointing that senior members of this team can't be consistent. He's come in for his first game against Liverpool, who, and nobody, let's be honest, expectations were low today. There shouldn't be. It's not the standards that we're used to. This isn't Man United, but this is how we are this season. And like you say, a point more than we expected. So at the end of the day, Arsenal go top on goal difference, and they're not top anymore.
We dented Liverpool's title charge a little bit. In terms of United, again, though, that's a half of football without a shot on target. A moment that Bruno took advantage of. Like you said, without that mistake from Kwanzaa, where do you think that game was going? Because I think the talk around me was that we were going to get battered in that second half. The only thing that kept us alive was the fact that Liverpool couldn't finish.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's not too dissimilar to what the FA Cup game was like. Because actually our first goal in that game came from Kwanzaa stepping out. Garnacho manages to get in behind and play the pass. So, I'll be honest, it's a difficult one. But I honestly think that we probably still would have got something out of it just because they really didn't have their shooting boots on. But I still think we were lucky. But then I look at the stats and I think, look, I'm not the biggest fan of all of those players, but for people to say that they've down tools, completely, all of them, I think it's wrong. But like I said, like you said before, senior players, CASEMIRO, Bruno, Rashford, they need to be more consistent, because otherwise we're going to keep having problems like this. We're going to keep having teams coming over, even if it's Bournemouth, the Lutons, teams like that are still walking all over us. And again, that's not the standard that we need to be at.
Yeah, I mean, looking at United now in that game, it's happened in the last few games. We've given Leeds away. We've been in positions late into games where we're looking like we're taking all maximum points and then losing it. Is it worrying that we're not seeing much change from Ten Hag in games to change things around? Like we said, the moment changed the game. We took advantage of it. That wasn't anything from the manager. There were no changes at half-time, having conjured up no shots like we said. Is the biggest worrying factor in this the fact that in-game Ten Hag has clearly got players that he trusts, and they're not even performing for him now as well?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that, actually, because I think a lot of people said last season that one of Ten Hag's main strengths was his man management, was his game management, and his substitutions often made a very big impact. But I'll be honest, I thought he made a mistake putting Amrabat on for Garnacho. I think it killed off all the attacking quality we had, and it just invited more and more pressure, and ultimately that's where the free kick comes from, that's where the penalty comes from, that's where, I'll be honest, I really thought they were going to score at the end, and we would never have heard the end of it. So I think ultimately something's got to change, and this is why I'm still not convinced on him, and Ineos definitely won't be. They're going to have to do a lot of thinking and a lot of evaluation, but at the same time, it's not just him. It's lack of mentality, it's lack of concentration, and it is also poor in game management, like you say, and it is worrying because it happens time and time and time again. So.
Cheers for talking to us, mate.
No worries. Thank you very
Pleasure.
much.
Nice one. You did good, mate. It was excellent.